All right, well, thank you all for having me, and happy afternoon. So as you know, I'm Melissa Harris. I work with Colman Media with my partner. I moved from Las Vegas about 5 years ago. At that time is when I actually met Chris. And we're gonna go through just a little bit of history of me, where I came from, how I got started doing what we do, and then into what we actually do. So, like I said, when I first met Chris, we went to Hawaii. So he's actually the most amazing partner in crime, literally. He's my partner in life and in business and everything. And he just is a wonderful person to work with and be with. So, but prior to that, I actually was in veterinary medicine for about 15 years. So I did veterinary specialty medicine. I worked with oncologists, cardiologists. That's me with my cardiologist at the time, doing ultrasounds, echocardiograms, that is. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun, but it was really, really hard. As all of you pet owners know, it's very emotionally and mentally exhausting at times to be around that environment all the time. So that's when I decided I wanted to get into a different business and do marketing. So from there, actually, there's my 5 children. So I have 2 cats and 3 dogs. The littlest one, Sophie, she runs the house for sure. So she's the youngest as well. They're all, it's kind of like a geriatric household, but they're a lot of fun. But as far as what I like to do for fun, I like to do everything from working on my Corvette to drinking champagne with the love of my life. So I'm pretty much an all-around fun-loving person. I literally will do everything. I always tease people that I'm like a lost sheep because I literally will do anything. I just love to have fun and be around good people. So now it's business time. So again, that's Sophie. She is the boss of the house. So that's her hanging out in the office while we're working. But as far as Colman Media goes, Colman Media is an online marketing and SEO company. So we focus on getting businesses more business through online exposure. So does anybody know what SEO is? Search engine optimization. Right, exactly. So search engine optimization. And so search engine optimization is actually a technique that is used to get more exposure and also more traffic online for your business. So this is actually a recipe that you can see on the screen there of ingredients that all go into what makes an SEO campaign. So in order for you to actually be able to utilize your website to its full capacity, you have to have all of these ingredients, different percentages of course, but they all kind of go into the same thing in order for Google to recognize that your business is legitimate, that you have a relevant information to give to people. So let's talk about Google for a little bit. So you guys are all familiar with Google. I teased Chris yesterday. I said, we should just put Google it, because literally everybody says, what's this? I don't know, Google it. She even said it earlier, Google it, Google vaccines. So pretty much any information we're getting these days, we Google it. We don't necessarily get the information from people individually. We do our own research in order to find out the best information that we can get to make our decisions on what we're gonna purchase and what we're gonna buy. And actually 80% statistically go online before they purchase a product or a service. And that number is increasing as time goes by with the different generations. Of course, the millennial generation is really hitting that home. But we definitely need to make sure that businesses are being found online, and just having a website isn't enough. So that's actually a graph there that has, or a pie chart that is, that has the pages 1 through 10. So it's literally the first page of Google down to the 10th page of the percentages of traffic. So as you can see, page 1 has 91.5%. If you're not on page 1, nobody is gonna find you. And out of the millions of websites that there are, you're not gonna be found unless someone goes to your website directly. A lot of times people don't even realize that just by their company name that they're not even being found if they were to type that into a Google search. So we gotta make sure that that's being done. I know some of you guys are familiar with my cheesy jokes, so here's another one. So where's the best place to hide a dead body? On page 2 of Google. So, because nobody will go to look for it. Yeah. So the way that Google actually does it is they have a set of algorithms, which is basically just a set of rules that the computer has calculated in order for you to be able to find out what is going to be your best rank in the millions of pages that you are. So whether you're on page 1 or whether you're on page 100, the algorithm is set up based on that recipe that we saw in the beginning of all those different things that go into making sure that your website is optimized and making sure that it's going to be giving the benefit of the best information. So actually Google's mission statement is to take all of the world's information and organize it to make it easy and accessible for everybody to find. And so they want to just make sure that when you type in the keywords, you're going to get exactly what you're looking for. About 10 years or so, when you would type something in, sometimes you would get something back you didn't necessarily want. That doesn't happen anymore. You pretty often get exactly what you're looking for, and the whole front page is exactly what you need, and you can go through different ones. The other best thing is that it actually doesn't let you do duplicate content. So if you have something that you've taken from a Forbes article that sounds really amazing, and it's a really well-written article, that's awesome, but it's Forbes article, so it's really not going to benefit you to actually take that information and put it on your website, because it's going to be considered duplicate content, and Google's going to say that that's not relevant because you've copied it from someone else. And so whether it's good information or not, you're not going to necessarily, that's going to decrease your ranking. So this is an example of another client that we have. He's actually a senior national marketing director. So he's a pretty big guy in the company, and he wasn't being shown anywhere. You would type his name in, his company, and he wouldn't show up anywhere, which is a pretty big deal, because especially if you're going to be investing your money with this guy, who is he? You don't know. And so you have to go online, which is what everybody does at this point. They go online and they see who this person is. So we've got his website, we've got subpages of his site, we've got articles written about him, his LinkedIn, his Facebook, everything. So you can pretty much just get everything you need to do a real good, thorough research of this guy before you go walk in his office. You know what he looks like, you know where his office is, everything. Because that really makes a big difference in order to build trust, and also it's a branding. And so I know we had discussed a few meetings back that branding is very, very important in order for people to really be able to get benefit from your business, because they want to know that they can trust you. Again, back to the building trust. So it kind of goes hand in hand. This is actually something that we had, just a little copy of some stuff that had been written for us. So we have a article written on each one of those different news sites. So when people go to those news sites or search our name anyhow, those news sites will come up, and there's a beautiful article written about what we do, who we are, how can businesses benefit. And so it's pretty cool to have that kind of information from those big news companies that everybody is very familiar with. So again, back to the trust and branding. When you get your name out there and more things come up and more people see you, it benefits you more. Okay, so now we're going to go into how you actually do it. So most people will take their website, they have their social media link to it, and then they have a blog. And that's it. They update their blog and their social media as they can. Sometimes they have social media managers. Sometimes they just try to do it on their own. Sometimes people don't even do a blog because they're not good at writing. Maybe they're not comfortable. I know Heidi's really phenomenal at taking care of the blog part. But really, that's what most people end up doing. But this is actually what needs to be done. So this is how we do it. So that's the massive network that needs to be built in order for Google to really recognize that your business, that your business is actually a legitimate business, that it has good information, that it's something that they want to advertise to people for you to be able to get business from them, because they want to know that you're getting the most relevant and most popular information. And so obviously that's a pretty intense map there, diagram. And so when unfortunately, most people don't realize that they need to put that much work into it. And so when you don't put any work into it, you're even setting yourself further behind. So that's obviously what we do. We set up those networks. It takes time, obviously, to build those networks. But there's multiple different ways that we can utilize the websites. We obviously make commercials. We do photography to utilize that. There's lots of different ways that you can do SEO as well as optimizing your site. We also do pay-per-click advertising if that's something that's going to benefit your business. So there's a lot of different options that you can do to make sure that your online presence is the top that it can be, and so you can benefit the most from what you're trying to do.